On Storyboard today, Satyamev Jayate returns for a second season, the year ahead for auto manufacturers, and a sneak peek at Seat's big marketing campaign for 2014. Hello and welcome to Storyboard. I'm Pavni Mittal. 2 years after its debut, the Aamir Khan starrer Satyamev Jayate is all set to return for a second season. The 11 o'clock slot and the show's social conscience are still intact, and so is the mega budget. Here's the conversation with Star India CEO Uday Shankar on what to expect from Season 2 of Satyamev Jayate.
Thank you for speaking to us, Uday. To begin with, tell us how Satyamev Jayate this year will be different from last year.
Satyamev Jayate this year, it's a show that's different in each episode. Right. Simply because, except for the larger philosophy and the premise of the show, which is about taking up issues to create a better India, everything is so different. I mean, where do you see a show where the spectrum is so wide? So I think this year, this season will be very different because of those reasons. You know, there is a certain expectation that the show has set up in the minds of the people. We are very conscious that we need to elevate it to the next level. And that's exactly both in terms of the selection of the topics and also the nature of the discourse, the kind of engagement that we are seeking, and everything else that follows from there. It will be different. The other thing that will be different here is that we realized last year that people were looking for a good discussion on those subjects, and yet people were far more keen to also look for solutions. What could be done to change the state of affairs? And I think this year we will focus on that a great deal more.
Right.
Having said that, Anant, you know we don't disclose the topics.
Sure. No, I don't want topics. One of the things that made me almost made me feel like it was gimmicky was, well, all these great causes, and Satyamev Jayate ended, and then nothing's happened from then till today. Star hasn't done anything from then to today. It was more of a sort of season of a show than a continuing movement.
I have always been very clear about this, that as a media company and as media professionals, we are not in the business we are not social reformers. We are not in the business of taking to streets and fixing things. I don't think we at Star are very clear that that's not our job, and I don't think as media professionals we should do that. In fact, if anything, we should be a little more reticent. You know, we have been given a very powerful tool by society called media, our ability to create content and let people choose, and that's exactly what we did. Even before the series began, I had made it very clear that it wasn't our place to go and change the country directly. Our job was to create content that helped people understand the real issues, that laid a context to the challenges, and that empowered people with information, with arguments, and with case studies to make up their minds and decide for themselves how they want to change this country. So it's about empowering and enabling people to change the country rather than changing the country ourselves.
Right. One of the things about Satyamev Jayate, and a lot of the sort of punts that you have taken last year, is that the content is expensive to produce. Yes. Right? It's not just Satyamev Jayate, even sports and so on and so forth. You've taken all these, shall we say, considered risks in expensive software on the back of certain expectations of changes in the marketplace. So to begin with, I'd like to ask you, has rollout of digitization met your expectations?
I'll answer that in two parts. You're absolutely right. We have taken some calculated risks on content that require a lot of investments. But even before that, I think it's fair to say that we generally believe that the quality of content and investment in content must continuously go up. As a company, we believe that, and in fact, we believe that the success of Star has been primarily because Star consistently over the decade and a half that it's been doing programming in Indian languages has invested ahead of profits. First, it has invested in improving the quality of content, and then the viewers and the marketplace has vindicated the faith in that in that improved content by giving us better value for content. And that's what we have always done. You know, first Star changed the quality of drama in 99-2000. change the quality of content through things like KBC, and that's when the monetization came. So we've always believed that you must put your money where mouths are, and that's what we've done in this case also. Whether it is Satyam Vijayate in sports, which you pointed, but even if you see continuously, even in continuing programs. So, for instance, today the money that we invest in our dramas is way more than that. Look at a show like the Mahabharata on Star Plus, or you look at Mahadev on Life OK. We have invested in those shows both creatively and financially disproportionately, because we believe once you do that, that's how the brand and the loyalty with the brand develops, and once that loyalty is there, then you go out in the marketplace and monetize that.
Now, to come back to revenue from your
second
subscribers,
question is, yes, we believe that the best way of monetizing all this is when the consumer appreciates the content and is willing to pay for it, and that's essentially what we think should happen in a transparent digitized distribution ecosystem. Digitization has progressed well as far as the MSOs putting boxes in homes is concerned. Phase 1 and phase 2 both have performed reasonably well, except for isolated pockets where it hasn't gone off well. But I think in terms of the technological upgradation has happened, the technology change in digitization has happened, but the reinvention of the business model, unfortunately, is still very slow.
Right.
So the entire investment and the whole change was premised on the fact that the MSOs would invest in boxes, and on the back of that, they would be able to start billing the end customer, and they would be able to start getting a share from what the LCOs collect. Unfortunately, that process has been very slow. There are genuine issues between the MSO and LCO, because suddenly the LCO is required to share his earnings. But also, I don't think the system on either side is geared as adequately as it should have been to take advantage of this. I think somehow everybody believed in the distribution ecosystem, everyone believed that digitization was all about pushing boxes in homes. The fact that it meant that you had to change the whole business practice. You have to start keeping books, you have to start getting details of the consumer, you have to start sending bills at fixed times, start following up collections, blah, blah. Those things haven't happened. So it's been slow. And as a result of that, the financial or business upsides, both for the MSOs and for the content community, hasn't yet kicked in.
Now, we've had this recent TRA ruling on the aggregators. What's your view on that? Because now that was a system which was developing and seemed to be working well for broadcasters. And
you have to realize why aggregation came into being. It happened primarily because of a huge distortion on the supply side, because the cable system was so opaque and the regulation was so heavily loaded against the broadcasters. You had no ability to tell the cable operator to take your channel, but the cable operator, as and when he or she wanted, could always ask for your channel. You couldn't price your product. The cable operator in turn could go and price his product whichever way. You couldn't discontinue the supply of the content, but the cable operator could discontinue whenever the guy wanted. So there were all these distortions, and that's why people had to come together. It was an inefficient business with very little collection, so people had to come in and bring in efficiencies through aggregation. I don't have a big disagreement with what the regulator has done on aggregation. The regulator has said that aggregation is a legitimate form of business. Fair enough. They have said that you can continue to distribute multiple bouquets and multiple channels, just that the contracting has to be separate for each entity. I don't have a big problem with that. The problem is, unless on the other side the distortions that continue to, the legacy distortions are corrected, you will not be able to solve the problem. And that's where I hope that the regulator, who's announced its intent to go and fix some of those issues, whether it is the issue of tariff regulation, whether it is the issue of alignment of tariff with today's reality, whether it is stifling control on tariff itself, or whether it is this whole issue of carriage fee and must supply without any must carry. Unless these things are aligned, the regulator's attempts to create a even distribution ecosystem and put discipline on aggregation would be meaningless.
The first episode will air this Sunday. Let's take a break here. Coming up ahead, will 2014 be a better year for automakers?